Hi, I'm Xu from China. Thank you, Julia, for introducing me. It's my pleasure to be here. First, I would like to talk about my visit to water at Leeds. So in the end of 2012, I quitted my job at Ministry of Environment of China. I want to pursue my research work. So I joined a postdoctoral program at Beijing Forestry University. Then I met Martin, the director. So he offered me an opportunity to get to Leeds as a visiting scholar for 6 months. So 2 months after I got my postdoc program, I come to Leeds. So I rent an apartment in Broadcasting Tower. So you can have a beautiful view through the window. Sometimes you can see the rainbow. And I gave several presentations during my visit, such as on World Water Day. I introduced my work on water footprint. Then I also helped to coordinate this water footprint symposium. So we have, this is a small symposium, but we have invited several researchers in the field of water footprint and water, such as Sir Tony Allen. He's the father of water. So we also published a conference report related to our conference. More importantly, I want to say that during my visit, I figured out my research plan. So I collected the data, I built my model, and I do the quantification. I think these efforts set the foundation for my next 5 years research. Since 2015, me and Martin has over 10 publications on, for example, PNS, Water Resources Research, Journal of Clean Production, to name a few. So I'm very grateful of Martin and Water at Leeds to give me this opportunity to restart my research work. So I would like to introduce some of my, our recent collaboration on evaluating the vulnerability of physical and water resource networks in China's megacities. So you may know the concept of water is water embodied in the traded product. So if a water-scarce country chooses not to produce the water-intensive products, for example, crop products, but to import this product from other countries, so import these products correspond to import water. So this is a water. And we also have this physical water flows from water transfer project can redistribute water from one place to another place. So we want to evaluate the impact of both physical water and water on the water redistribution in China, because China is a large country with very unevenly distributed water resources. So we found that China's interprovincial physical water flows by water transfer projects amounted to 26.3 billion cubic meters. That's accounted for 4.5% of national water supply. Then if you can see that because North China is more scarce with water, so North China has more water transfer projects. And if you look at the water flows in China, the volume of water transfer was much larger than physical water. It was 200 billion cubic meters. And it corresponds to 35% of national water supply. And if you look at the directions of water flows, you can see that a large amount of water flows from North China, Northeast China, West China, Central China, all to this coast area of China. Because this area is the most affluent area in China, and there are several megacities located in this area, such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. So we want to further look at, then we realize that these megacities rely on these water input. So we want to look at both physical and water flows to these megacities. And we also realized that these megacities are vulnerable not only to physical water scarcity, but also to this virtual water scarcity or the external water scarcity. So if you look at this physical and virtual flows for crop consumption, we can see that a city will need crop production and consumption. And some of this crop production was provided by the hinterland crop, so it will need the physical water supply. And we also have this crop production outside the city boundary, so it provides virtual water to the cities. And if we further look at the physical and the virtual water transformation, and we can find that this virtual water supply also need a further physical water supply from outside the city boundary. So this virtual water supply can be vulnerable if this water supply from outside the city boundary face some, for example, drought situation, or this water is overexploited, there will be risk for this virtual water supply to the city. So what we want to do is, I will skip this. What we want to do is first establish a megacity water resource network incorporating both physical and virtual water flows. And second, we want to evaluate the direct and indirect. Indirect means the vulnerability to outside or external water scarcity of water resource networks for 6 megacities in China based on an extended input-output analysis. So we evaluated these 6 megacities, including Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Chongqing. You can see that 5 of them are located in the coastal area. So we use the input-output analysis, water stress analysis. I will skip the method. So this is the diagram of both physical and virtual water flows for these 6 megacities. And you can see that blue color means the virtual water flows, and the orange color means the physical water flows. It's obvious that the virtual water is much larger than physical water flows. So the total external water footprint, or the virtual water input from other regions of the 6 megacities, was almost twice of their physical water consumption and accounted for 80% of the total water footprint. So we also evaluate the direct and the indirect vulnerability for the 6 megacities. And we found that for the megacities with extreme water stress, such as Beijing, Tianjin, and Shanghai, because they're all located in North China, and they face extreme water stress. For example, Beijing and Tianjin, they have the water stress, we say direct water stress index of 1. 1 is the largest figure for the water stress. For these cities, they have much larger direct water stress index than their indirect water stress index. Indirect water stress means that the water stress for those exporting regions support the virtual water to these megacities. But we found that, for example, take Tianjin as a case. Tianjin's indirect vulnerability is larger than its direct vulnerability because Tianjin imported a large amount of virtual water from other regions. So this makes Tianjin's total vulnerability is 0.67. So if we see an assumption case, we assume that these megacities don't import or input other products from other places. They produce all the product by themselves. Then we see that Tianjin will have no indirect water stress, but direct water stress don't change. And so Tianjin will have no indirect vulnerability. So this makes Tianjin's total vulnerability is 1. So if we look back, so in reality, Tianjin's vulnerability is only 0.67. So we made the conclusion that megacities with extreme water stress decrease their direct vulnerability at the price of increasing their indirect vulnerability. This is mainly because they import large amounts of water from other Chinese or other provinces. Okay, that's all. Thank you.